I'm trying to get a special guest, the great one, Vince Goodrum on here. I need you guys to reach out to the great one, Vince Goodrum, to get him on my live tonight. That's right, Stray Strength 650, the channel I work for. What do you guys here in the States think of the so-called red wave that was supposed to take place with the Republicans demolishing the Democrats? Anybody a fan of the great one, Vince Goodrum? The red wave sounds like a communist plot. Anybody going to watch that lousy football game tonight? The Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons in about an hour. They'll be playing in a monsoon. United States has been in trouble, Justin. Hopefully, DeSantis runs. I think he's got what it takes in a couple of years. Like my fan, I just dusted it, Anders. Thoughts on Sassy Savage Goddess? Never heard of her. Good evening, Rusty. The Meowman had COVID 3 weeks ago. I finally got it. But it was the sickest I've ever been, but I can't say I was in fear of my life. But it was a pretty nasty virus still, very contagious. When I bench press, I get a lot of pain in my upper traps and neck. Any suggestions? I'd have to see your form. I don't know. Are you really retracting your shoulder blades? Maybe do some light neck work and like some light high rows for your traps and stuff to kind of get some blood in there beforehand. Nick's got COVID too. Yeah, it's going around. That's a good analogy, New Jersey Misfits. The United States is like the gym bro of the world. Big, loud, and always talking about how strong it used to be. Anadrol, yeah, I'll give you as much, if not more, size than D-ball, but it's more toxic. It felt like it killed my appetite. I felt more flu symptoms on Anadrol than Dianabol. My woman's doing good. I saw her earlier. I took the shot in August 2021, and then I got COVID in October of this year. So the shot didn't help me. I won't get any more. At this point, I handled it. But I still have like phlegm in my throat, and I'm not like 100% in the gym. Pre-workout Phenibut, Jordan, go for it. It was my go-to, although I don't take Phenibut. I haven't taken it in over a year and a half, but I liked it when I was using it. I don't know. Super chat's not working. I don't know. Maybe they demonetized me. It didn't give me an option to set that up either. Andrew Tate. When I went to the park and I was walking around a couple months ago, these young kids that were there for soccer practice, one of them was yelling at me, Andrew Tate, Andrew Tate. I've only seen brief clips. He's a little over the top, but overall I agree with him, I'd say. Phenibut's addictive, yes, and the withdrawals are as bad as benzo, so be careful with it. Ethan Larman, one of my very first clients. How's it going? I don't know. Maybe YouTube demonetized me. I don't nothing about super chats. It's strange. Oh well. I'm doing it for the fans. DeSantis, Trump had his part in American history. Now it's time to pass the torch. No, I haven't talked to Dale Chance or Cornelius or any of them. Yeah, the girl's good. She's great. 3 months, people can change. You got people that are in relationships 20, 30 years, married, and they grow apart, as they say. But it's the best girl I've ever had for sure. So I mean, we'll see what happens. But yeah, she's great. Where you moving, Ethan? Oh, deployment. What happened to be MGTOW? I was at for the bulk of the last 10 years. And as I said the last time I did one of these, I wasn't looking for anybody. It's not like I was on a dating site. I just met the girl and started talking, and I decided she was worth my time. She's the unicorn of the bunch of the females. That's so. But I mean, I'm a proponent for MGTOW. I wasn't lonely. I didn't feel like I was lacking or there was a void in my life. I met her, and it's a good chick. Definitely different than any I've met. So it's lacking a little bit. I'm starting to get pale. I had COVID. Hmm. I don't know. Can't set up a lot. Whatever. Hawaii. Wow. Yeah, 255 for 5x5 standing overhead press at 215 drug free. That's real good, I'd say. I don't know. Everybody's different as far as how much size they can keep after coming off. I had COVID 3 weeks ago. Bad aches and pains, chills. My fever was only about 99.3, so that wasn't bad. Um, like it was 70 degrees out. I had to have the heat on here. I was like shivering. And then the first night, this horrible cough, like with chest pain and tons of phlegm was coming up, kept me up all night. Every 5 minutes, like literally all through the night, I was coughing I had a supplement container. I was spitting the phlegm in there because I had to keep getting up and going to the bathroom to spit it out. And then I got on Paxlovid, the antiviral medication. It's free. And within a couple days, I was better. No more coughing, but I had a sore throat for a week. But I just felt lethargic for 2 weeks. It killed my appetite, and I didn't lose taste or smell like a lot of people. But I'm still like 3 weeks. I'm still today. I felt good in the gym. I felt like I had good energy, but I feel like I atrophied because I had no appetite. I wasn't eating much. But it was worse than the flu. But I never thought I was going to die or have to go on to the hospital. So, but thank God I didn't get the original strain. I guess. Yeah, cough. Mine was a wet cough, but my girl had the dry cough. Yeah, we got to do something. Me and Lenny, maybe a weekly podcast again. I don't have much time these days. Yeah, I'm off PEDs for good. Maybe one day some TRT, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. Did I blast and cruise? I blasted and came off back in the day. There was no cruising. Regular soda or calorie soda is best. If you listen to Lenny would rather drink urine than soda. It stains your teeth. I drink the Waterloo sparkling water. There's just natural flavors, no calories. I like that. Have I crashed my estrogen? Not that I know of. I've had achy joints when coming off, but I didn't go for blood work to see exactly what it was that was causing it. So I don't know. if I could say I crashed my estrogen or was just an imbalance between test and estrogen. G-Unit tank top, never heard of them. Most milligrams of test, me and Lenny did 2,000 milligrams a week of Brevale testosterone, came from Mexico. Who knows? It was probably underdosed. What do I do for a living? I'm in retail management of a small store, a chain store that has about 800 stores across the country and the world. Yeah, I got Bootsy here, and my neighbors take care of the old stray cats. Did I ever drink a White Claw? No. My heart's good. You know, I don't think that plaque will go anywhere. There's not a drug that can remove it, but I feel good, you know, training. I can get my heart rate up real high. Thoughts on Jason Blaha? I don't know. I've never really watched this stuff. I know he's been around a while. Your first semester of law school, and it's absolutely brutal. Your life is hell. Any words of encouragement? Yeah, you're probably the only person in this thread, you know, that could you know, go through that type of schooling. It's one of the most difficult, I'm sure, like medical school. But I mean, if you really want to do it, you gut it out and you do it. You make sacrifice and study. Don't do what the cookie cutters in college are doing. We need some good lawyers out there with good values. So, no, I don't really mention the YouTube. I don't really do much on here anymore. Once in a while, I'll tell somebody if they want to like do a training video to build their brand up or whatever. I'll tell them I have, you know, a small, decent following that 5,000 plus people is a good start. Like if they wanted to film on their behalf. Thoughts on Pete Rubish? Who is that? Is that the same guy that Leo had? Pete Rubish? He's a power lifter or something. His numbers are good. I don't know. Really don't know much about him. Of course, I've accepted Christ as my Savior. I did so in 2008. I've strayed many times. It's not easy. It's not an easy life, but I still, you know, I read devotionals and listen to sermons. I really need to attend a church, but it's tough. I have a lot of doubts at times. Life moves fast, too. The guy that's in law school, it moves so quick. You'll be laughing about it one day, what you're going through. So, about the same, Timothy. What's new with you? I'm going to plug Timothy's podcast, everybody. I believe it's Laptops and Lattes. He's got a, last I was on here, he said you got a podcast people can check out. I think Islam's a false religion. There's, you know, many things that tell people to make and break treaties and go after the infidels, which are, you know, non-believers. And it's like Christianity, where a lot of Christians don't know what's in the Bible. A lot of Muslims don't know what's in the Quran, or, you know, what's it called? I've seen, there's been Christian pastors that quoted from the Quran, like a lot of the deceptive verses and things like that. So, but it's, you know, to a lot of people, it brings structure and asceticism, like people in prison, and it keeps them away from doing things they used to do. So, but I don't believe it leads to God for sure. That's neither do I about Mormonism, but a lot of Mormons are good, moral people, but I believe they're deceived. DECA, I always took with tests, so in conjunction, I thought it worked well as far as my joints strength, but I feel like it was more likely to cause like gyno in me, because it's not that it converts to estrogen, is it prolactin or progesterone, I believe, but it's big with powerlifters. But I mean, if you're taking it by itself, I don't know, it's more anabolic than androgenic, so you may not notice the sexual boost that like test or Masteron would give you. Do I plan on working for my current employer forever, changing careers? I take it one day at a time, like they say in AA. I'm paid, you know, for my standard of living, it's well, but it's not challenging. And I could have gotten to management. I decided not to. Who knows? I'd like to think there's something else out there for me. Lap dances and lattes podcast. Check it out, people. Do I think Jay is back drinking again? I don't know. I haven't seen any of his recent videos to tell, but I mean, it's alcoholism is a disease, so it's very tempting. Just like once you're a porno addict and you watch a lot of porn, you have times of weakness where you want to do it again. It's the same with drinking and drugs. And then if it's so readily available, but who knows? I mean, hopefully staying away. And, he had the blood clots. To me, that would be a big wake-up call for me to change my lifestyle, but who knows? Robert Breaker, is that a pastor? I've never heard of him. Have you ever double dumped with Lenny? What's that? Cancer in your eye. You can do chemo and you don't want to. I don't blame you. My mom's been through chemo for the better part of this year. It's rough, but you're a young guy. You gotta, if it's going to give you the best chance to beat it, you have to do it. Mom's pretty rough. Her health's not good. So she's just, it's one thing after another. Excellent, Ethan. That's good. That's a strong will. I'm out there for doing that. How come I went completely off to do TRT? I did PCT in 2019. And once I got my levels back into the low normal range, I found out I had high calcium score, and later found out I have some blockages in there. So I was like, it's not worth it. I'm able to train. My libido's good enough. So I see no point to do TRT. No, I can't say I did that Ice Monkey 99. Robert Breaker. Who's the other one you told me about? I'll have to check him out. Thanks for the prayers. Bradford Mail Prick. I'm living the dream. Thanks for the prayers for my mom. She needs it. Bootsy's sleeping under my bed in her little bed, so I don't want to wake her right now. Bootsy's sleeping. I have a little bed under my bed. That's her little spot. 3 people in your family died from chemo. Well, yeah, it's poison. It's horrific. I've seen what it does to my mom. There's a lot of people that maintain if they get cancer, they won't do chemo or radiation. But I mean, my mom asked me from time to time what I would do if I were her, and I don't answer her because it's different circumstances. I mean, I could be alone, no wife, no kids one day, and rather than go through that, decide otherwise. But I'm not going to get her any more down about the whole situation than she already is. So walking, for 300 pounds, a good slow, steady pace walk. Dorian Yates did that pre-contest in the morning. Me and Lenny did it. And then you fix your diet and you lift weights and you'll drop weight. 600-pound conventional deadlift for a natural is great. Walter Vaith, I think I've heard of. What do I think about Vince Goodrum's modular mansion, aka the $40,000 trailer he always brags about? Is that what he's got? That's very popular here. I've had people tell me to get one of them, but I'm afraid a tornado will wipe it out. Do I think I'll take early retirement at 62? I don't think I'll be able to live off that. I plan on I'd like to work part-time and learn things, keep my brain active if I live that long. So, but I don't want to be in my current position doing what I'm doing at 62. there's not many people my age, let alone 62, doing retail in the place I work at. So. Who would win in arm wrestling? Lenny would beat Vince Hoodlum in an arm wrestling match. Thoughts on the Democratic Blue Wave this election? Well, I heard the clincher was the big thing was the Roe v. Wade fiasco, and rather than I'm voting, I'm thinking who's best equipped to handle the economy and the massive inflation, the crisis at the border with criminals coming in and rapes and fentanyl coming in, things with Ukraine, North Korea, China. So all that's first and foremost when I go vote, not LGBTQTP and abortion, but whatever. We'll see what happens. But you watch that guy Fetterman debate Dr. Oz. The guy had something recently. He's not completely coherent, and he won up there. So I don't know what people are thinking. What tips do you have for getting in more calories? You could do the old butter shakes, New Jersey Misfits. Or you know what my mom's eating because she's like skinny and frail, and they told her, and she has like stomach issues, is like mashed potatoes. You could put like sour cream, butter in there, chives, cheese. I mean, you could eat that very easily, and it's a lot of calories. It's not much protein, but if you're just looking at calories, of course, weight gainers and just adding stuff to it. Back in my heyday when I was, I was doing Anadrol, it killed my appetite. I had 2 weight gainers and like 2 or 3 big meals. So I was easily 5,000 to 10,000 calories and I put on weight. I wish I would have recorded my lifts in my prime. Fortunately, Tyler and Prince Andrew and everybody, Lenny, of course, were able to get the bench on YouTube. So, but I wish I would have got my other lifts because that wasn't my only good lift. But oh well. Yeah, the guy can't even talk and beat Oz. It's like a microcosm of Biden. Although sometimes Biden is very coherent, it's weird. It's almost like he's a robot programmed on and off. And he beat Trump. So supposedly, if you believe in the veracity of the election. Yeah, I was happy to see Rob Zilla. He looks like he lost some weight from hauling the mail down there in the heat. Big Lenny, he sends text messages to me and Brad every now and then and had a conversation. I should. That's a good idea. I could do an episode of Cribs one day. Show you the pad here, the apartment. What's the diet today? I had a cup and a half of egg whites with spinach, 1 whole egg, a cup of steel cut oats, cup of blueberries, some home fried potatoes I made in the air fryer, and a bagel with cream cheese. Then I lifted. Then I had a protein shake with a banana. And I had a craving for the pumpkin seasonal flavored Cheerios. So I had a cup and a half of that. Then I had a chicken sandwich with some yogurt. And then me and the young lady had some barbecue for lunch. I had some smoked turkey with hash and rice, some brisket chili. Pretty good. Yeah, I'm still with her, John. Thoughts on father saying he will outlive Lenny. Many people have said that, but a lot of them ended up dying before Lenny. But he looks, like he's moving around better. He doesn't have the issue with the shins and whatever Lenny's got going on with his legs, and his stomach's a little different than Lenny's, but you never know. Lady's doing good, Jordan. Thanks, Serratus. Is Jay back on the sauce? Most of us believe he is. I don't know. I haven't seen, like I said, I've been watching any of his stuff, but wouldn't surprise me if he's at least doing like a TRT dose. Oh yeah, I'm sure some of the stuff they got on Netflix. I don't see why they wouldn't have me and Lenny back in the day on there with the lifting and the extracurricular shenanigans we did. What's the worst lifting advice you ever got? Well, back when I was bodybuilding, George Johnson told me when I had to bring my legs up, and he knew it. He told me not to squat over 315, which I think was ridiculous. This was when I was, no injury free. I was in my late 20s. So off the top of my head, and then idiots trainers at the old World Gym when I was 300 plus tell me to cut the weight in half. I was a 650-pound bencher, and one of those schmuck trainers was telling me to do half the weight. Meanwhile, I had a massive chest. Unbelievable. No, my scalp doesn't peel when I shave my head. I'm watching Killer Sally. I'm only on episode 1 though. I remember Ray McNeil. Thoughts on how long my new relationship will last based on past relationship. Well, early on, there's no red flags. So, but who knows? She's so much younger than me, and people, like I said, they could just change. But if I had to guess right now, it'll be my longest relationship. It'll be the most promising. So, with a few tweaks to my bench, Seaburger, yeah, because there's people, they're good at like teaching lifts, especially the bench press. Yeah, I would have got a lot more. I would have hit 7, I'm sure. If I stood injury free, there's no reason why I wouldn't have been able to do that. If Rob Zilla learned how to work out and diet, could he be Mr. Olympia? I don't know. I mean, he might. How tall is Chris Bumstead? He'd have to take a ton of juice and stuff his face. Somebody like Rob, because he's taller, but he could still, look good and athletic, put on a good bit of muscle. But somebody that tall to be Mr. Olympia would be difficult. It's easier for like somebody between my height and say 5'10", 5'11". But then again, Arnold won back in those years, and he's 6'2", and Lou Ferrigno's pretty tall. So, well, Scat man, when I had COVID, I had to isolate for 5 days, and it's like somebody told me Unsolved Mysteries was rebooting on Netflix. It was one of my childhood favorite shows, so I just had to get it for a month. No, I don't watch RX Muscle really anymore. I don't think my woman's ever been with a PM. I didn't ask her, but I highly doubt it. Yeah, I think cutting too aggressively will end up dipping into muscle if you're dropping that much that quick. That's what I think happened to me. Both me and Lenny is cutting our calories too quick because we came in way lighter than we expected. But so it's better to be slow and gradual when you're cutting calories. Jay's about, I don't know, like 6 foot maybe. I don't. It was seemed like he was a few inches taller than me. Best thing on YouTube right now are those edited murder mysteries that psychoanalyze police interrogations. What channel is that? Mendelson benches 1,000 pounds at 55. That's pretty good, even though with the bench shirt, it's still pretty impressive. Thoughts on that slap fighting contest between Genova and the late Rich Piana? No, I don't do any gaming. Did I hear about the first biological male winning a major women's beauty pageant? No. Doesn't surprise me. It's how screwed up and warped society is, if it's true. Thoughts on Kurt Angle looking like crap after retiring? Well, he had a ton of injuries. He's got to be close to 60, 50, 60. He looked juiced up for a while. Like you could tell he was running TRT. I watched the documentary on A&E, but then he had the painkiller addiction. But, well, it's something I noticed myself. I'm only 44, and it's like I'm looking at myself lately thinking I'm starting to atrophy a little bit. But stranger stories. I've heard of Explore With Us. Slap fight leagues. I'll have to check that out. Any advice on lower back pain while squatting? I have the same issues. I really got to do an extensive warm up before squatting. It could be you're not bracing properly, which is hard as you get fatigued, learning to breathe. Squat University has a lot of good stuff on Instagram and YouTube on bracing and lower back pain. I'd suggest you check that out. But if you got access to a reverse hyper machine is good. Don't worry about too much like crunches and leg raise for ab. Do more like core stability, like planks and ab wheel rollouts. And just it could be just bracing. I noticed today I did trap bar deadlifts. My back was hurting, but I braced really good, and my back was fine afterwards. So that's the key. Of course, if you're rounding over too much, and it could stem from your ankles lacking mobility, your knees. So you could try doing barefoot or try elevating your heels. Just got to play around with it because I still have those issues. Arizona Animal said he ran into a giant man dressed as a woman in his grocery store. Real pleasing to God. Thanks, Messi's big dog. Train insane at the gym, like Branch Warren says. My lady doesn't know I wear this. Well, she saw me doing it for. I would walk over to do cardio with it in the little training room here, but she doesn't know about the YouTube thing or anything really. Why would they throw that out, Ethan? It's very underappreciated piece of equipment, the reverse hyper. Which trade would I study if I could do it? Probably something that, the medical field or an electrician is a really good trade. Or HVAC, air conditioning, something you're not going to get outsourced and it's like always going to be needed. Welding, yeah, welder, that's a great trade. Electrical engineer, that's a lot of. I don't think I have the brain for that. But electrician, you got to be a pretty sharp guy too. My dad said if he could do it over, he would have been an electrician, but he worked for Bell South for many years. He knew a good bit about electrical stuff like wiring the house, and he was great at fixing the older cars, but he wasn't like a electrician per se, like a certified. Nah, I don't think she would like a butter shake. Yeah, that's a lot of schooling for electrical engineer. Even electrician, you got to start out as an apprentice for a while, so that could take a couple years, and then you're basically doing grunt work. But no, electrician's a great trade. No, I never met Boston Lloyd. The most cookie cutter thing I've done, joining Instagram. Yeah, New Jersey Misfits. My dad started with 9X in New York in the 70s, then went down to Florida. It was Bell South, which is and it's now AT&T. But he installed and repaired payphones in the part of town in Boynton Beach where Lenny would pick up ladies of the night. My dad would find little bags of crack in the payphones. He'd throw them out, and then he'd say these guys would come up to him wearing all this jewelry, asking him for money. In it's the Cherry Hill area of Boynton Beach. He said the two places he hated repairing the cell phones was the Stockade, Glades Correctional Institute, and the Fruity Tooty bars, if you catch my drift. Seaburger, Big Lou coined the name Meowman because of my love for the stray kitties. I don't know how big Lou is. He texted me actually one day weeks ago. He thought I was still on Instagram, and there's a guy, John Jewett. He's a bodybuilder. He lives in Texas. He's IFBB pro, but he had his master trainer course. He was like doing it at a discounted rate. It looked pretty good. I like clicked on it. Not that I intended on doing it. It was like a couple $1,000s, but it teaches you like all about drugs, nutrition, to like prep bodybuilders and physique. But he was like, so Lou texted me that he's like, he likes the guy. You know, he thinks he's one of the best out there as far as that. Like Matt, what was his name? Matt Porter, the guy that died. So he was just telling me that he was offering a discount on his course. But I said I'd look into it, and I did. But I was like, I'm out of the loop. I had no interest. So cable splicer in the hood in Brooklyn, New York. Oof, talk about a rough neighborhood. If Lenny and I wrestled, we were going to be the War Machines based off the old Kiss song that 6 Feet Under remade. We were going to come out to it. The War Machines. Pain and Gain movie, wasn't that with The Rock and Mark Wahlberg? I think I saw it years ago. It's based off a true story, I think. Have I ever worked out at a 24-hour gym after midnight? Yeah. It was called Coops here. It's now 10-star. Back when I did security, I got off at 3 in the morning and I went and lifted. It was great, but I could never do that now. I'm way more geared towards eating earlier in the day and training earlier in the day. Is Genova's grandma dead yet? I don't know. Thoughts on Jay saying in his recent live, Lenny's downfall happened after my first visit. He's not wrong because shortly thereafter he lost a job at the hospital and everything. But then he was doing all right for a while. He was working for Lou, and then he had other jobs. But what's that saying? Correlation doesn't equal causation. Bloodsport, yeah, it's a great movie with Frank Dukes, Bolo Young. Thoughts on PJ Braun? I read a good article about PJ on muscular development. Apparently, he's going to be writing a blog from jail, and I guess you could say he's a born again Christian. The guy witnessed to him in there. Check it out on muscular development. I sent it to Brad and Lenny. It's PJ Braun wrote a blog. He said it was like the worst day of his life. He had to come off all the prescription drugs he was on. He got COVID, and then just everything in the jail and isolation. But sometimes that's what it takes for God to get people's attention, is to put them in the most difficult situation. And then, they trust and rely on him. But I met PJ once. He was good to Jason. He did some sketchy things. He's paying for him now, but hey, looks like he's redeemed. Last of the Mohicans. Yeah, it was a decent movie. Can I put the link in the chat to the article? I could add it to the description when we're done. Can I recommend a good 50 liters backpack? No, I don't know. Somebody sent me this. A very generous guy, Rob from Jersey. He's not on social media. Very, very good guy. We chat via text. He's an animal lover like me. Well, he lost a lot of weight, David. Of course, not. He said that the diet, the food that they give you there is like convenience store. I mean, you could imagine there's, bologna sandwiches. Maybe you get to go like get candy out of like some vending machine or something. Now, in like prison, I don't know if the food's any better, but he's off everything, so you can imagine he's probably, who knows if he has weights. And he's, how old's PJ Braun? He's like 40. So, I mean, he's probably bigger, more muscular than the average person in there, you would think. We're going to have resurrected bodies in heaven, metal lives. Christ is the only one with scars in heaven for all of us to see for what he did on the cross for us. So, but we'll have new bodies. Like originally before the fall of man in the garden, the bodies that Adam and Eve had, where they were naked. What was my diet at 300 pounds? 2 weight gainer shakes, whatever I wanted. Lived at home with mom and dad. So whatever they'd cook, like cheeseburger, steak, lasagna, a lot of Chinese food, a lot of eating out. Maybe it's good luck, Julian. A lizard hopped on you on your way home. What gear was I on when I hit 650? A lot of tests. I don't remember if I was on Anadrol or D-ball. Deca, and then the day of the bench press meet, crushed up methyl test and trenbolone pellets under my tongue and some ephedrine. Is it true that steroids make men feel suicidal? Some people, maybe, if they're predisposed to that anyway, could exacerbate it, I guess, or coming off, your hormones are all screwed up and then you see yourself getting flabby and losing muscle. I mean, it could like depress somebody to the point. But I think it's other circumstances. I don't think that alone, just steroids, are going to make people suicidal. Will Brad have tattoos in heaven? No, I don't think there's going to be any tattoos on anybody in heaven. If God wills it, King, I'm ready to be a father, but it's not something I'm planning on right now. The 4 angels, will the 4 angels rise from the Euphrates River? I think it's going to be things that we can't even explain now. Like in the Revelation, the descriptions given were like animals, like locusts and things. So, I mean, who knows what it's going to be? Yeah, I saw that 90s movie, Kids. My bench is garbage now. I do more dumbbell work than bench. I don't know. I'd probably say I couldn't even do 365. But my chest still looks good. It's striated. It's weird, but I can't move. My presses have gone to crap. My deadlift is pretty good, and if my lower back's feeling good, my squat's not bad. But my overhead press and bench are just trash. Supposedly the flu's going around here. Yeah. Who do I want to see in the 2024 ticket? Ron DeSantis and I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Tulsi Gabbard will be his vice president. I would have gotten more of an education or a trade. instead of just wandering around aimlessly. And I still could have gone all in on powerlifting and bodybuilding, just with better time management. But yeah, I mean, I would have gotten some sort of trade or something in the medical field. I wouldn't have gone to college for like some useless degree just to go. Knowing what I know now, I would have, done things different. Jay Masters will be allowed in heaven if he trusts Christ as a savior, just like anybody else. Who's Sassy Savage Goddess? Furry Murray. Enlighten the rest of us who don't know who that is. There's no signs to heaven? Of course not. Because those are deceased people are living their resurrection life and they don't come back. As it says in the Bible, it's appointed for man to die once, and after this comes the judgment. Absent from the body, face to face with the Lord. Just like the Lord doesn't manifest to us to him. He doesn't manifest to us anymore. There was a period of time, that they wrote about in the Bible after his resurrection, but I mean, you could say there's no science to it, but you could also say the probability of us being here on Earth, as it is, perfectly aligned, with the sun and the moon and etc., is the probability of that is like a tornado going through the junkyard and assembling a fighter jet. So, did Kerry Lake win Arizona Animal? Do I think Lenny held me back at all in the gym? Held me back at all today? No. I'm a grown man. Everybody should take responsibility for where they are. Don't play the blame game. Nobody put a gun to my head and, forced me to. I mean, we trained together and then we went he did his job and I did mine. So who's to say I couldn't have, like I said, attended school or done more with my life? It was just my own fault, just being lazy. It started in high school, taking the easy way out. I just hated high school. So I took the work program and I got out after 4 classes. So just didn't have the maturation or now. And my dad always warned me how fast time goes, and he didn't like get pushy. He just told you, get an education. He didn't like nag me. So it's my own fault. I could have lived at home, gone to school, and got a good trade or education. Doesn't matter whether you're buried or cremated in God's eyes. I don't think. Have I seen the movie The Witch? No. Is that the one with Nicolas Cage? No, Letty was a big raw garlic proponent. I used to eat it a lot, but now it's like, if it didn't stink so much on my breath and I have to deal with the public, I would. But I think it has good health benefits. Yeah, I love the Masters of the Universe as a kid. It's one of the things that inspired me to lift weights was the little figures were so muscular, and I had the little wrestling figures of the Road Warrior. Pro wrestling, yeah. Bodybuilding, not so much. Looking back, I don't have the physique for it. I don't think I would have done well in bodybuilding. But wrestling, Lenny and I should have pursued. We missed out on that. I mean, if I didn't get like a trade or a good education, wrestling would have been the ticket just because of my strength. I could have gotten a little better shape, worked on mobility. If I could turn back time. Da-na-na-na. I'm still waiting for Cher to move out of the country. She said she was going to move out of the country when Trump got elected. Exactly, King 614. We're fine-tuned here for life. People, I don't. Of course, people are going to say that Lenny held me back, or no, absolutely not. My life isn't ruined. I mean, God's going to bless you. If you veer from his routes, in the end, he's going to bless you with the necessities of life. I look at, I have everything I need compared to people in other countries that are starving and they don't have roofs over their head. So, I mean, it's not like I'm in dire straits here. Could have been better, but yeah, I do some tricep isolation stuff like skull crushers and cable pushdowns. Thoughts on Triple H? He was a good wrestler. I know Lenny doesn't really like him, but at that wrestling was very entertaining. When they had the Monday Night Raw versus Nitro Wars, but he was a good wrestler. I mean, the way he sold things. I mean, he could work the mic really well. He had a decent physique. He's not one of my favorite wrestlers, but I mean, he's definitely one of the best of all time. Triple H, I'd say. No, but I recommend going in the service for people, especially now if you don't know what you're doing. I worked with a guy. I think I've said it many times. He was in the Marines. He was a sharpshooter. He killed 7 or 8 people over there in Iraq, and they got made it out. Got the GI Bill. Worked with me part time. He got paid to go to school. Now he got his degree. It's been 6 years now, and he's working in mechatronics, which is a big field here in a lot of the factories. So that's the American dream. He went in the military, got out, went through school, got a good career. Pray for David Hodges' daughter. She's in basic training with the Navy. Bret Hardy's another great wrestler. Wasn't one of my favorites, but one of the best technical wrestlers. I do think they screwed him too, Vince and Shawn Michaels, but I would choose strongman over powerlifter or bodybuilder. But I'm not really built for it because I have shorter arms. A lot of those guys are taller. Aaron Carter just died, possible overdose. Yeah, stay away from drugs. Chris Benoit, yeah, he was a great wrestler. Good physique. He had those long matches with like a bunch of really good matches with Booker T. But he was a great wrestler. Who knows? I mean, he probably had concussions, and that's what I mean. They attribute him doing that to his wife and kids to steroids, but not everybody's going to go out and do that. The guy probably had some issues, and I think the issues were he was really depressed when those other wrestlers, I forgot which ones that were his friends, and they died. Was it Eddie Guerrero or somebody else? I don't remember. Yeah, I remember Owen Hart coming down from the rafters dying. Favorite martial art? I don't know. I would like to learn jujitsu. Who is Aaron Carter anyway? The name sounds familiar, but not sure. Yeah, Benoit's neck was crazy. Yeah, the Warlord didn't speak too highly of Bill Kazmaier's wrestling either. When me and Lenny went down there and locked up with him in his garage. Yeah, I've seen video. I mean, clips of Kazmaier. He wasn't, but I mean, in that time period, guys like him would just they beat the crap out of the jobbers, the scrubs. That's what you wanted to see. But he never would have went far, obviously, with the lack of wrestling skills. But I mean, I always like seeing big, massive guys just toss the guys around like that. Scott Hall, yeah, he was. I remember Razor Ramon in WWF, and then he went over to WCW. That was a good shtick. Lenny did it at. Bill Nealon was an NPC judge, and he would organize a lot of the bodybuilding events. And Lenny flicked. He said he flicked the pencil. He was filling out some paperwork for him, and he goes, he imitated Razor Ramon and flicked the pencil at Bill Nealon. And he went nuts on him. He goes, Lenny, I'll throw your ass right out of here. I'm not putting up with your crap tonight. Yeah, me and Lenny got kicked out of gyms, I think 2 or 3 in one day, one night. What was better, the 80s or 90s wrestling? I like the 80s better. Kevin Nash's podcast clips. No, I never watched them. I usually watch some of the Hannibal's clips. I know we have a Benedict Arnold, Leather Daddy Furry Murray is the Benedict Arnold of this chat room. He's nice on here, then trashes me behind the scenes. Kane is a Republican mayor in Tennessee, really? My favorite wrestler as a kid, I like the Road Warriors. Who else? Ultimate Warrior. Hercules Hernandez, I liked. Trying to think. The Warlord, Barbarian. Those are the guys at the top of the list. Insulin can kill you if you don't do it correctly. I never used it long enough to give you a good answer, but I know one time I didn't take enough carbs and I started getting cold sweats, dizzy, lightheaded. I had to go get a smoothie from the smoothie bar at LA Fitness. What's the secret to building up the bench continuously? Strong triceps. My technique was never the best, but my triceps were very strong. And for me, I didn't overdo it. I benched once a week. Of course, it was on a lot of juice. I was eating a lot, but my skull crusher was ridiculous. I trained shoulders on a separate day a lot of days, but I don't know. I don't have like one. I just did it every week. I was able to get stronger. More impressive strongman. Mark Henry was very good, but my money, Kaz is the man. No, I don't think Andre the Giant's one of the greatest wrestlers. Hulk Hogan, he's one of the top, without Hulk Hogan, there would be no wrestling. Him and like Ric Flair were pillars of the wrestling as we have it today. As far as like their fan base and what they did, I don't know. Good question. How Fetterman won Pennsylvania. Ever see broccoli head kids at the gym? What's that? Tips to lower blood pressure. It's nothing to play with. If you got to get on meds, you got to get on meds. But Cornelius always recommends hibiscus tea. I think sodium's overblown as far as an effect on blood pressure, but stress is a big one. There's something called Respirate you can buy. It's FDA approved. It's like you put on headphones and it like gets your breathing down. Like it's almost like meditation. That's supposed to be good. Hawthorn berry, hibiscus, magnesium glycinate. But I would monitor it. If you have to go on medicine, go on, because they don't call it the silent killer for nothing. Yeah, the Macho Man was a great wrestler. He got juiced up in the WCW. Saw how big he got. World War III by the end of this year. Now the year's almost over. I mean, anything's possible, but it could be on the horizon. Who knows? I think the WWE is past the point of no return. It can't be saved. They don't have the stars like they had. I don't watch it. I can't watch it anymore. But it's just, all those different stars, like I said, Hogan and Razor Ramon, the Ultimate Warrior, even going back to the '80s, like Andre the Giant, they just don't have the star power. It's crap now. I couldn't get into it. No more scans on my heart. I don't see the point. Piper, yeah, Roddy Piper, Brutus the Barber, Beefcake, Big John Studd, the Sheik. No, I don't know any. Blood pressure medicine is kidney protective if you have to take that, but I don't know of any supplement. Some people say high amounts of astragalus root, it's an immune boosting herb, could help your kidneys, but I don't know. It's not like liver where you could take like milk thistle or tudka, but with the kidneys, I don't think there's a supplement for it really. Yeah, I told Rob Zilla he should do wrestling on when we did the podcast with him. He's still young enough. He was, he has some training under his belt. He'd probably be good on the mic. He could probably rap or something. He could probably be like a white rapper. That could be his shtick. I told him he should have done it. But I mean, nothing wrong with his current career. That's, it's one of the better jobs out there if you don't have any sort of education or trade. Nate I don't know. I haven't seen Nate's hair transplant. Allison Chains, yeah, I like some of their older stuff. Peter Ruckman is considered the junkyard dog of pastors. I don't know. Junkyard dog of pastors. Depends who the human is, Liam. Yep, I do think rappers are the lowest common denominators. Tate versus Jake Paul. Who wins? Does Tate have a fighting background? I really don't know too much about him, but Jake Paul is a really good boxer, though. If a sponsor offered to fly me out to the Olympia and work the booth, would I consider it? Yeah, I would. Yeah, Ultimate Warrior was a conservative. Andrew Tate was a successful kickboxer. Who knows? I mean, boxing, maybe, I don't know. It'd be a tough call. Well, if he's a 4-time world kickboxing champion, then yeah, he would beat Jake Paul, I think. Is his girlfriend or wife Misha Tate? She used to be in the UFC. Is that? I'm not sure if that's his wife or what. Meat department. Meat department. I like the old horror movies, Callum Smith. I haven't seen a good one in a while. Meat department. Yeah, I think Rusty Shackelford. I did see the J Masters mask for Halloween. It was creepy. I think it was on It's Sick It's Piss YouTube channel. I don't really. I eat more beef stew, like steak, and I actually have a skirt steak I made the other day. 2 or 3 times a week, I'll have like steak or some sort of red meat, or I'll make chili. I don't have plans to have children right now, but I mean, I'm not completely opposed to it either. So the hurricane's coming through here now. So yeah, Lenny texted today, so I assume hopefully he didn't lose power or anything. But the storm's coming through here tonight. It's like 40-mile-an-hour gusts. A lot of rain tomorrow. I'd box Mike O'Hearn. I think he'd win. I feel like with a guy, he's made a lot of money in this industry and stuff, so he's probably had like formal boxing training, and he's in better shape than me too. So, but I would box him for some sort of charity. The most efficient shoulder exercise. I mean, probably it's not as bad as the wrap that it gets behind the neck press is what I always did. It's going to hit more. Well, it does work your traps a lot, but I feel like of course, it hits your front delts mostly, but maybe a little more the medial head just in that position than just a straight military press. But my mom, she has to go for another liver treatment and then more chemo, Marty. But she's like barely 100 pounds, and she's got she's home. She's not in the hospital. But she's just a lot of health issues. So, but hopefully, mom's going to be 75 next month. She's a fighter. It's more than I've ever, what she's going through is just, and she takes it, and she's tough. Getting a bad windstorm and rainstorm out in Wales and Scotland, huh? I tried keto briefly, like 6 weeks. It works, but I mean, I like carbs. I feel like they have their place in somebody that's lifting in their diet. That's pretty good, Chuck E. Cheese. You're moving some weight. Thanks, Federico. I should get my mom the Mother's Cross, like the Germans did, from what my mom's gone through, having 3 boys and now dealing with cancer. I'm gonna put it around her neck when she beats cancer. What's Jay's new cycle? Enlighten us. Did Brad put boards up for the hurricane, Nicole? Brad was busy boarding up the house down there in Loxahatchee. Yeah, I did a lot of close grip bench. I think I got up to 455 for reps on that. The oohs and the ahs of the world. Brad was busy rolling a joint, huh? In the middle. He's like, I think it'll be dope to smoke some dope in the middle of the storm with Taco Bean. Just kidding, Brad. That's right. A lot of you guys, Christians, should look into Martin Luther. What was the thing he pinned on the door of the Catholic Church? The 95 Thesis. No, it's the weather's nice, Renaud. We're getting the storm, a lot of rain and wind, and then this weekend we're gonna have freezing temperatures, and then Tuesday the high is gonna be 45 degrees, so it's gonna be a lot colder Sunday, which I'm not a fan of because I train at the layer. It's in the guy's garage, so I'm gonna have to bundle up because it takes a while to get loose nowadays for legs. Brad, the Bernie Sanders follower. That's right, Thomas. Good good Christian history. Martin Luther basically invented the written German language because he was the first to translate the Bible into German. Jay's new cycle, Steel Reserve and Smoky, Smoky, Choky, Choky. Hopefully, like I said earlier in the stream here, that he wised up and he's not changed his lifestyle. Because honestly, Jay could probably set records in the bench press or something for his age group if he lives the clean, straight, narrow lifestyle. HSP program, heavy stretch pump. No, it sounds like something. What is it? DC training with a lot of the intense stretching between sets, or combination of what was the thing? The Hani Rambod FST7 fascia, like you do the high rep pump sets and then stretch. No, I never heard of it. It doesn't seem like it's anything new. No, I was raised Catholic. I went to communion, but that was it. I never did Catholic confirmation. Thoughts on how Nick Walker's going to look in 10 years from now? I think he's headed into the same direction as me. And that's if he's lucky. But if he's not lucky, he's going to end up like Dallas McCarver. Because Ted Arcidi said it, and I kind of agree with him, although there's no science. I haven't researched it. But I think there's some sort of correlation with people that get bad varicose veins like I have and plaque accumulation in the heart. But who knows for sure? I got a hunch. And Nick Walker's he's got worse varicose veins than I do. He's young. Hey, he's going all in on, at least he's at that level. I never made it to that level. Like he's at the Olympia level. But, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Jay Cutler looks pretty good for his age. He looks healthy. Ronnie Coleman's still kicking. He has the injuries, but my guess is, that kid's headed for heart issues. But, hopefully I'm wrong. I don't know. It's genetics. Maybe his parents are in their 90s with no heart issues, so there's no genetic component. Kratom, I wouldn't touch that crap. I don't like it. Raises your prolactin, which is going to affect your testosterone. If you need it for pain once in a while, it didn't help me sleep. It put me in a light sleep. I got no REM or deep sleep from it. Honestly, I would tell you, having tried a lot of recreational drugs myself, don't even bother with them. It's really not worth it. Chicken I can get for $2.99 a pound. Steak, $6.99 a pound the other day at Earth Fair. I got some flank steak, and then I got some nice lean beef cubes for stew. I would never equip lift. But they're still getting under a lot of weight, but I'm not a fan of it. I never would have, raw lifting for me is the way to go. The favorite part of being over 300 pounds was the weight I was moving. No issues. Once I had some bursitis issues, but they went away quickly. But throwing that kind of weight around with very little warm up, just the explosive, just the strength gains week after week, the pumps. People would look because we were massive, but moving that kind of weight, yeah, of course you're going to get an ego about it. Any gym I'd go to, I was the strongest guy. Andrew Jacked, I don't know who that is. Larry Wheels is impressive. I don't follow his channel. I haven't watched any of his stuff in a while, but he's, very impressive. Moving some weight. He's doing like things which I should have been doing, like crossover into arm wrestling, and markets himself well. So good for him. Yeah, I'm like, I dropped down when I had COVID, 190. I was only eating, I had to force feed the 2 meals I was having. But if I train and eat 5 meals a day for 5 days, I'll get up to like 210. If not, like in the morning, I'm under 200. Yeah, I like rotisserie chicken, but I didn't see any more results doing, like I said earlier, the 2 grams of test Lenny and I did with orals and maybe DECA or whatever else we were taking. I didn't see any better results doing that as opposed to 1 gram of test with some D-ball. So why would I make a video with Pete Rubbish? The guy doesn't know me from Adam. Yeah, Lenny told me Martin the Martian Fitzwater's a maniac. He's a big fan. Manfred Herbal's 10 minutes to massive arms. No, I didn't read that. Get on the butter shakes, Chuck E. Cheese. How do pros take 6,000 mgs of gear a week with all the side effects and toxicity? I mean, everybody's different how they'll react to it. But, there was times we felt like crap. Because remember, I had sleep apnea. I was working the night shift doing security, would be falling asleep in Lenny's chair, and we'd have a big breakfast and go. But I was able to channel everything and train intensely. The times in the other parts of the day felt like complete crap. We did use ephedrine and things like that, but I don't know. Once you get going and you get warmed up and they're moving that kind of weight, so you could do it, and then the rest of the day you get the back pumps, you feel like crap. But I mean, it's their career. It wasn't a career for me, but it was like that's all I wanted to do. Wanted to go places with it, so that's how you deal with it. Was Boston Lloyd a negative influence on young men by destigmatizing steroids? No, I think a lot of people I ask up here when he passed away. 3 out of 4 guys I spoke to that are like pro. There's a couple pros. They hated him, but then you look at it like at least he was transparent about everything. Um, I think other just nobodies really that didn't have the name he did on Instagram and other places maybe are more of a worse influence on young men by him. At least he was like kind of like Tony Hughes, like experimenting and stuff people wanted to do themselves. He did, so they kind of had like some anecdotal or bro science about it. But at least he was honest, like Lenny's. That people respect that he didn't sugarcoat anything. He told the truth. But some guys just hate him. I don't know. They thought he was bad for the whole industry. But all these guys are using drugs, and they're all a bunch of liars. At least, like I said, once again, he was honest about it. Would 2,000 milligrams of trend make a person out of control? I guess it could. I never took that high of amount. Who knows? That's overkill, though. I mean, it's not gonna. I got great results doing a tenth of that. So why would somebody need to take that much? Steven Seagal spray painted Widow's Peak. I should do that. How do you think I look with that? Let's see it, Chuck E. Cheese. Unveil yourself on your channel. We're dying to see who you are and what you look like. Where do I think it went wrong in my bodybuilding career? It's probably, it just wasn't God's will for me. I don't think it is any God's will for anybody to to have a career in enhanced steroid enhanced bodybuilding, but probably not training legs correctly. I think I should have done more volume for legs. Maybe tried some different things there to get my legs a little bigger. Even like heavy adductor work, which I frowned upon, I think would have helped. So just lacking the leg size, and then, but I mean, ultimately with the heart issues, I would have. Who knows? I probably would have dropped dead anyway. So Glenn Benton from Dia's side, he's still an atheist. Lenny was about to give a psychoanalysis of men with long hair in a video, but got interrupted by Dale. I don't know what he was going to say. Dale Chance, he was on the live and he interrupted him. Yeah, I voted the other day. The Republicans dominated once again in South Carolina. It's to be expected. How did balding at a young age affect me mentally? It didn't. I had a decent head once I shaved it. I was like, some people, their head isn't very conducive towards it. So I didn't miss a beat, honestly. I started shaving my head and it really didn't bother me at all. Yeah, wear a mouse mask and show some pics, Chuck E. Cheese. Thoughts on Murphs for heart health? What the thing they do? What is it? Certain amount of pull-ups, running, whatever else it is that the CrossFit people do. Yeah, I think it's great for heart health. You probably can't just jump right into it. You have to like work yourself into something like that. Lenny's old places go for big bucks on the market, Big Sexy. Lenny or Brad sent us. Lenny or Brad in a group text sent. They cleaned it up and it's on the market. It's ridiculously overpriced, so it's still there. Some lucky person's going to get to live where Lenny peed in a square and. Yeah, I like old Iron Maiden stuff. Do pros take stimulants? They have a show to keep focus all day. No, I don't think they do. I don't think they take stimulants on a day. I think it's counterproductive. Yeah, I used to bounce bars and strip clubs. If I had all the information available to you, that kids do now, would I have been able to go further in bodybuilding? I had enough information then, but it was like I said, just keeping up on my health, my general overall health. There's nothing, training, lifting is lifting. I mean, my mistakes were not eating enough good, clean food in the off season too. So there's nothing knowledge wise that's come out that I could have used back then that I mean, nothing really new. No TRT. I haven't taken anything since May of 2019. Within a couple months, I was able to get my levels to normal range of after that show I did in 2019. The guy probably wanted Lenny out because he was paying a certain amount and he realized, oh, the market's really good. So I'm going to get this guy out of here and clean the place up and I'm going to make a huge profit. So that's probably what the guy did. Yeah, we used stimulants pre-contest. Did Clan ephedrine when it was available, like over-the-counter fat burners. Am I an anomaly because most people would never return to normal levels? I think I don't. I don't know. I mean, who's to say they couldn't? A lot of people were like dumbfounded when I told them my issue was high prolactin from the trend, not so much that I came off and didn't do like HCG or Clomid or Nolvadex and all that, something to get my levels back. I think it's other issues people don't address. And then once again, if you're living, a lifestyle that I try to live, eating, getting enough sleep, which is the big one, sunlight, all that stuff, like Lenny says, I think your body will come back. I think as an adaptive response, you're kind of forced into it. Like guys in prison, they don't have access to it, but if they're in there and it's like they're in there lifting and eating what they serve them, and it's almost like you have to. Your body's going to have to start like kicking into gear again. I don't know. That's my theory. It's like I'm continuing to lift the way I did, so I'm eating the best I can, get enough sleep. It's like your body, I think, will eventually just get back to a baseline at least. And my levels, most people probably couldn't function with. They'd have to run and get TRT. They couldn't function. I'm at 376 total testosterone out of a range going up to 1200. So, but I'm able to function like that. Yeah, I got a little Ruger 9mm. I went to the gun range the other day. I'm a horrible shot. I got to get like some formal training, but I go so few and far between. But it is fun. I bought 150 rounds because they finally had some at Academy Sports. So now that the ammo is plentiful, I'm going to go back. Mr. Wonderful took a test shot and had an oil embolism go into his lung, couldn't breathe for 15 minutes. You're lucky you didn't die. If it's oil clot went into your lungs. The source countries of the best gear. Some from Mexico, although it wasn't the best. The best was from our source. We had he was Romanian, so whatever European stuff was better. The Romanian D-ball, the Thai D-ball was good from Thailand, but a lot of the injectables from Europe were good. I trusted them. I felt like they were dosed better than the Mexican stuff. And then there was some so-called American stuff like Durox suspension. That was like the most desirable, was like to get an American lab, which I can't think of any off the top of my head, the name of them. Steris? No, I don't know. But that stuff was good too. What's PIP every injection? I don't know. No, I should go deer hunting with Dale. Would save me a lot of money on meat. Kill a couple of deer, it'll feed you for a while. Thanks, Thomas. That's at the end of the day. That's why we're here. Why we're here is to motivate and inspire you, be role models. Some of you guys are like the kids I never had. Yeah, I'd like to get an AR-15. When I was at the range the other day, there was a kid going in with one, going to shoot it as I was leaving. So the key to shooting is not flinching right before you pull the trigger. Just a nice, smooth trigger pull and gun going off. I shot better when I got my concealed weapons permit in August 2020 because I kept the target. I was like, a lot of them were within the target. And the other day I was like missing for some reason. I tried all different like angles and shooting different ways. It was like, I don't know. This is Rob from Jersey sent me it's a weighted vest for exercise. Post injection pain. I don't like doing quads. I don't recommend it. It hurts. And if you got to walk around or be on your legs for a living, you screw some up in your leg. Whereas a glute, you can work around that, or a shoulder. Well, that's the thing, Big Sexy. Whenever I've gotten venison here from hunters, the steaks, that's the best part. They call it backstrap or like fillets. They keep that for themselves. Understandable. They did all the dirty work. So they give you the ground meat, which I made some good chili. The girl's doing pretty good, Teflon Dawn. I saw her earlier today. So a 1 inch needle shot into the delt ended up as an oil embolism into your lungs. Yeah, I've had some scary incidents with with everything. I got cellulitis a couple times. Had to go to urgent care and get it looked at. No, my lease isn't up till September. I don't know when her lease is up, but I don't like that whole idea of cohabitating. But I mean, the way things are going with the prices, I mean, I might have to deter from that. And a year from now, who knows if things are going well? Who knows? You never know. I don't want to like say things prematurely, but anything's a possibility next year. But I got another 10 months here. Maybe doing all right now. But at some point, I mean, it's going to be a consideration getting a place where they're way down the road. Yeah, there is a lot of deer here. They get pretty big, so it's a lot of meat. Psycho We Social. It's funny you said that. At work, we had to fill out a little information thing so our peers can get to know us better and like favorite food, whatever, like hobbies, etc. But a place I'd like to visit, you know what I put? New Zealand, because I've seen pictures and it's beautiful. So that's where I'd like to visit one day, New Zealand. There's a lot of Christians there too, I believe, right? No, I got that. I got the COVID shot in August last year. No, to be honest, if you get COVID, the likelihood of you getting myocarditis or endocarditis are higher from COVID, from the inflammation from COVID itself, rather than the shot. But again, I got it. I'll never get that vaccine again. Um, I made it through, the strain. It was bad. Like I said, I was sick, but I'm not getting any boosters. There's no point now. And besides, your doctor, if you get COVID and you don't want to get the shot going forward, you can get that Paxlovid. It's antiviral. It's pills you take for 5 days. It clears it up. It prevents long COVID and hospitalization. So I think that to me, that the vaccine is obsolete now, unless you're like my mom, maybe she's immunocompromised. She's got bad cancer. She might consider it, but it's like for the rest of the people, no. And the only reason I got it was I was concerned about the virus busting the plaque up in my heart, and then I'd be in trouble because that's what's happened with a lot of people. So, yeah, sure, Max, come down. You're about an hour and a half away from Greenville. We'll train. Yeah, she's a pretty good cook, the girl. She made elk with a balsamic reduction the other day. It was pretty good. Yeah, I'd like to visit Antarctica. Wouldn't want to stay there long. Maybe no more than a few days. I'd get creeped out down there, though. I go to Brits Brothers by the Greenville Humane Society. Yeah, zinc, D3, K2, coconut head. I think I would take N-acetylcysteine to boost glutathione levels in your lungs too. Bootsy. I'm going to show Bootsy, everybody. The most beautiful cat in the world, everybody. Say hi, everybody. When I had COVID, I was scared that Bootsy had it because she had diarrhea for 3 days and she was wiping her butt on the rug. Luckily, it cleared up. I don't know what got into her. It was a rough, satanic week there. My mom was in the hospital. I had COVID, and Bootsy had the runs, but we made it through. Best diet for cats is, they say, a raw diet of meats because they're obligate carnivores. The Bengals are going to make a run. They got their bye week this week. They're going to get healthy and make a run in the second half like they did last year. Bootsy smells like butter, her fur. So clean. Bootsy's 12 years old. Bootsy has a better physique than Jay. Yeah, they can sense when you're sick or upset. My mom's cat does. When my mom's not feeling good, her cat Lily knows. They have that intuition. No, my natural levels aren't high. Like I said, they're in the normal range, but I could function with them on the lower end, where some people, who knows, some people probably feel like crap if they had the levels that I have. But I still, honestly, I get morning wood most days. I mean, I could be intense in the gym, but like I said many times, the big thing is sleep. I got to get at least 7 or more hours. Like, whereas when I was younger, I can get by on 6 hours. Would that be? Where is he? The weather's making Bootsy sleepy. The storm she hears, the rain. Just Bootsy, but across the street at my old apartment, they still have the strays there. I don't know. I never partook in track and field. Wasn't Jay like a pretty good shot putter? You think it's safe for Onyx to lick Lenny's shins? Maybe it'll heal him. The little sandpaper tongue on Onyx. Yeah, I was, every time I see a stray cat, or I get a little, I try to call them if they, I need to start keeping food in my car now that the weather's cooler, but yeah, it does make me feel bad, but they should all have a nice warm place to go to at the end of the day. Yeah, there were some punk wannabe gangsters in high school. I should collab with Vince Goodrum one day. He's not too far from here. He had to teach Lenny about minimum wage laws the other day in his little YouTube video. Lenny needs to debate him. When Vince was downtown Greenville smoking a cigar, somebody said, "Looks like a real beehive of activity, Vince." Ugh. All right, maniacs, I'm going to call it a night here. Cut out the blue lights, couple hours for bed for good sleep. Stop the tape, everyone. Be on the lookout for some more Meowman videos from yours truly. And remember, trust God and leave all the consequences to Him. Good night.